What is up, Bomb Squad? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. Today I want to do a quick video that will kind of walk you guys through, because I had an impromptu dyno session at the world famous Kp Fab and Tune. So big shout out to Kp Fab and Tune, and big shout out to my boy Apple for all your help too, because between those two guys, that's made this thing make power, be reliable, consistent. I've learned a ton from both of you, and honestly, like, it only does what it does because of you guys. I can kind of punch a couple keys and stuff, and I can kind of fumble through blindly, you know, like with my little stick in the dark, but ultimately, you guys are the magicians. I'm just the idiot that kind of turns some wrenches and facilitates the vehicle. So, after last week's camping trip in the Bega, we had a successful camping trip with the family. Friday afternoon rolls around, long week of work, trying to get some things done, and I was like, hey, let's go visit some buddies. I went to one buddy's house. He ended up not being around. So the next stop was the world famous Kp Fab and Tune to go look at cars and stuff. And being at the dyno is the next best place to a racetrack. I'm sure it annoys the guys that tune, because if you're there talking and you're a guy like me, but I try to stay out of his way. If he's busy, I've known him long enough that I know when he's cool and he can hang out, and I know when he's trying to get work done. But then there's always a bunch of other knuckleheads there, so I can chew on somebody's ear. So went over there to waste some time. I was excited to show him the Maliboom 2.0. He hasn't seen it since we got it back running with all the suspension and all the stuff. So I legitimately showed up just to hang with my boy. I didn't bring any camera gear, I didn't bring nothing. Was definitely not expecting an impromptu dyno session. But after we finished fixing some lights at his shop, he was like, hey, what's up with the car? When do you want to tune it? I said, well, it runs and drives, it's cool. And he's like, is it dyno ready? And I said, well, it drives, it's probably. Well, we can put it on there and, you know, give a few hits if you want. So next thing you know, I strapped this thing down, we put it on the rollers. So let's show you the first pull, and then we'll talk about that and go from there. So that was the first pull. On gate, had no idea what was going to happen with anything. All I did was switch over to the good fuel pumps, and then we just whacked the thing. And lo and behold, I didn't take the filter off. So we ended up cleaning up a little bit of fuel, and I was like, oh, look, dude, we're not even in race mode. So we just ran that one straight back. So this was the second pull. So on the second pull, same boost, 6 pounds. We didn't change anything except cleaning up a little bit of fuel. Like, nothing else had changed. And we picked up, like, I don't know, a 20-something wheel horsepower just from taking the filter out. And I think it was a combination of the filter and cleaning the fuel up. But it was amazing that much, you know, just from that, taking that little filter out, and it just slides right out. So we did that, and the next thing you know, everything looked good and it was clean. The car was pretty well happy. So he's like, let's throw some boost on top and we'll go from there. So I said, hey, whatever floats your boat, dude. So he just punched in 7 pounds. And then I told him, I said, I don't want to get too froggy because I remote mounted my pressure sensor. So it's not on the gates anymore. It's up by the manifolds. I have the twin MAC valves. And I was like, let's just see, because if I have to mess with the PIDs, if it's slow or whatever it's going to do. So we threw 7 pounds at it to net, whatever that is, like 13 pounds. And I got in there. We freaking set it up. I whacked it. And this is that pull. He comes over and he was like, hey, you know, what happened? You shut it off? And I said, no, the thing, it just hit some sort of cut, or it stuttered, so I just let off. So we didn't make a full pull. And then the board lights up and is already 806 at the tire. We made 14.7 pounds, I believe it was. So everything was kind of spot on, but I didn't get to rev it out. So I was like, oh, it must have been boost cut. We have boost cut set at like 15 PSI. So we figured 14.7, maybe it grabbed a little bit earlier, whatever. Go in there and tickle some keys. After that, I tried to hit it a couple more times, and no dice. It would go up and bleh. So we looked at the log. We'll start losing RPM. So typically, if you lose RPM signal, it is generally camera crank. So I was like, oh, and he said, dude, I just had a car here, lost his crank signal. And it would idle, so it seemed cool, but then when you roll into it, it was not happy. So I decided, hey, I'm not going to waste any more time. This thing's having some issues. We already made 8 and some change. That's more power than it's ever made. And then we're just kind of getting started. And I said, that's plenty of power. I'm going to be tentative. We're probably going to run this thing on gate. I need to make sure it goes straight and does everything, but we could throw at least 7 pounds at it. I know it's safe as hell and we're good to go. So I was super stoked. And then I made the awesome decision that, well, it idles. If you're not loaded up, it'll probably drive home, right?
Well, this isn't an ideal way to go home. Come on, Boom, go.
So we did not make it home. I made it pretty close for the most part at like 20 miles an hour. And a neighbor actually saw me and stopped. And then I was able to sneak the car in a parking lot of a business that was on one of the main streets over there because it was kind of late and it wasn't full, luckily. And then he gave me a ride home and I got my trailer and did the whole dance and brought it home. So that was the story. I'm sticking to it. So we are at 800 wheels, like 806 or something at the wheels. We could I wanted to double that up and just back it up and make sure the fuel and stuff was clean. But all in all, I think that is a fantastic place to start. That is plenty of power, especially for what I'm doing. And the next thing is to start shaking it down at the track. Get the inside kind of nice. Clean up the outside, splash of paint back on her, and this thing is going to be in fighting shape. I couldn't be more happy or proud. I appreciate every single person that helped me out. All my sponsors, you guys are awesome. And yeah, man, thank you for the impromptu dyno session, KP, because I thought we could schedule something. I usually kind of try to go after hours or fit in if people cancel because I'm pretty close to the dyno. So it was just a random deal that we showed up, and he's always been gracious and super cool. So I thank you very much, man. Thank you for being a friend. Yeah, so she's in fighting shape. Oh, yeah, last but not least, if you're wondering, she is running again. We had the cam gear actually walked out. The bolts were loose on the timing chain, which could have been catastrophe. And instead of catastrophe, we just chewed up. Oh, I think I already threw it away. Where are you at? Where are you at, sucker? Here it is. So we just chewed that guy up, right? So it walked out, hit this, shut it off, and it couldn't have been a better result, right? So it was like a safety for my engine from a catastrophic failure. But pulled everything apart today, do some Loctite on those dogs, put it all back together, and we'll start shaking it down, doing some street stuff, and enjoying the car once again. And then we have a Friday night test and tune thing, hopefully in a few weeks. I might try to get it over there, but if not, I would say the Power Tour West, I think, is coming up. That one would be fun. We'd have some drives and kind of get to use it for what it's intended. But ultimately, I'm going to enjoy it, enjoy the hard work. Thank you all for watching. Till next time, you know what to do. I'm out.
Rolling through the streets, yeah, I'm the king of the block. Got that dragon drive style, make your whole city rock. Maliboom gangster, with a touch of finesse. I'm burning rubber, raising hell, feel the heat, no stress. Turbo LS, under the hood, I'm moving quick. Nicky tires grip the road, make them stick like a trick. She, sloppy too, we got a hit in 08. In the war performance parts all over the place. The bomb squad's